Right, I think we're live. I'm not going to say anything just yet.
I'm going to give it the silent treatment like Venom did the other night. Like yesterday, wasn't it? He just waits till it all starts.
Yeah. Right, I think we're...
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, lovely. Let's just share this link out. So, Simo, I don't think we've got any viewers in just yet. You want to share any words for anybody who might watch the stream back later?
Right. On the spot, that one.
Oh no, I don't even know what track it is. No, it's Spa, isn't it?
It's Spa. I did a quick look at the card allocations before. Have you had a look at those?
Yeah, I mean...
Pick your favourites out.
My favourite...
I'm liking Flying Throne in the Red Bull, if I'm honest.
Yeah, McVie in the Red Bull as well. That's a bit bit juicy, isn't it?
They're your favourites. I think even Ash can't make a McLaren win around Belgium.
No, definitely not. What do you make of this circuit anyway? Is it one that you've always enjoyed, or?
Yeah, I mean, I got my first pole here a couple of seasons ago, which was surprising but good. But then last year we got to this track and it was like everybody thought this is my favourite track. So you kind of do the pre-race stuff thinking maybe it's not as good for me because everyone thinks it's the track they're going to do well at. And I think I got fourth in the end, which wasn't too bad. It was Grumpy giving us the lesson in the wet last season.
Yeah, and I mean Mr. Grumpy, he's one of the most experienced names around, isn't he, in the industry? I mean, what will he be hoping for later today?
Oh, he'll be hoping for rain, I'm sure. I know he's in the Force India, but he was a bit of a rain meister around here. Just try and negate some of that power advantage the others have and use all of that skill and experience that he has to bring that home in a high position.
No, totally. And I'm just sharing out some of the links at the moment. I probably need to get them all sprayed out in the PSN chats. I don't even know if we've got any viewers. We do. We've got 2 viewers. I think one of them.
One of them's me.
Yeah, one of them's me. I'm sure viewing figures will amp up when we get the race started. I mean, once you get them sprayed into the PSN chats, that's when, shit really starts to go down. So was you gonna watch?
We need someone to tell me if my voice is loud enough. Sorry, go on.
Hang on, I'll see if I can. No, I think it's loud enough. I think it sounds fine.
Good.
That's good. So we've got a retweet from PSGL, so that's happy days.
That's always good.
And now time to spray it in the FP chat, the F4 chat, the F1 chat, and the admin chat.
Sorry, just chuckling. JP Greenwood gets you a shout out on the tweet. That's nice.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
We'll be supporting JP in his Mercedes.
Oh, he's a lovely driver, isn't he? JP Greenwood. Doesn't always get the rub of the green, does he? But I'm sure he'll
I've seen luckier drivers. Yeah, that's true. At least he's not picked a car yet.
Yeah, I mean, nerves perhaps coming into the fray there.
What are the standings anyway?
The standings. I'll have a quick look. So I think it's Warren Hagee leads this with 29 points, and Ugi Zeem on 28 points just behind him. And then you've got Ash Best a further 10 points behind with 18 to his name. So it's currently out of Haig and Ugi, but one race can change everything. And if you get wet weather around here, anything can happen.
Yeah, it certainly can. It's just throws up the order, doesn't it? Obviously, when you get the faster cars, you need to make the results count, but rain can even it up at the worst of times.
Yeah, it totally can. And we've got Gaming Alamonda in the stream today, tuning in for a lovely FP race. this evening, and yeah, it's great. And while we wait, let's talk a little bit about F4, Simo. You've had a good start to the season. I mean, you've had a couple of rocky races, but last time out you finished P4 around Bahrain. That was a good race, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. We all had. Tommy, you had a bit of a bump at the start, which helped. It was nice that it was you on the receiving end of that rather than me. But,
yeah.
Then we all had a bit of a front wing change. I think myself, Grumpy, there was a couple of others. I think fancied a new front wing. We didn't want to go the whole race with just the one.
Unfortunately, I damaged it on me in that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fine thing to do. Oh, we've got Mr. Hagues here as well.
Yeah, and Hague.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable race. I think it was a quiet race for me after the first pit stops, or after the pit stops. I just found myself in that gap between the top three and the chasing pack. Yeah, I just take it home nicely.
That's good.
Keep those old tyres going. I did the cheeky undercut meant it was a bit tasty on the tyres at the end. I think they were about 80% worn, which is puncture territory.
Yeah, I was surprised you managed to make those tyres last so long, but around a track like Spa, the one stop is pretty tight if you start on the ultra softs. I mean, they do die very, very quickly around here. I think lap 5 is probably the furthest you can take them, and they really start to drop off in pace. So, depending on what weather conditions we get, Simo, that should be quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw F1 last night, but the top two, Ash and Lewis, they both qualified on the super softs, and somehow got it on the front row. Now, I don't know if that was because the rain was due, or if they just thought that was the best strategy call, but there was a lot of super soft runners.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see that repeated tonight, especially among the faster cars. So someone like Frome can probably make the super softs go quite nicely in it, and McPhee as well in the Red Bulls.
Yeah, and lost my trail of thought, but just looking at the constructor standings, I mean, FP do things a little bit differently. So, I mean, teammates might not be in the same car. So, for example, we've got Wacko in the Toro Rosso and Jack Lacey in the Renault, but they are both teammates, and their team name is Exeter Gently.
Yeah, well, I see nothing rude about that name. There's a bit of a word for it, but
yeah.
It's nice to see the Golden Oldies as well, and down in their P5, because that's another GT Sport team as well.
Yeah, who's actually in Golden Oldies? I'm assuming
Golden
JP.
Oldies it's Flying Frome and Mr. Grumpy.
Oh wow, Mr. Grumpy. I mean, that guy could be in the dictionary under the word experience because of how much he's gone through in this league, and I can't wait to maybe catch half a lap on board with him in this qualifying session, if not a full lap on board, as I know a lot of our viewers do like tuning in to Mr. Grumpy. And Simo, just a word on this league. I mean, many of the people in this race today are usually the people who tune in for the stream.
Yeah, it's going to be different commenters if we get any watchers at all. But if not, we'll just shout at each other into the ether.
Yeah. And it's also known as the league the drivers enjoy the most, FP. I think because there's no pressure, apart from the main leagues that they're in. FP is almost like a cool-down league, which brings the fast and slower drivers kind of on a level playing field in a sense.
It is, and yeah, you get to try out a few things strategy-wise as well for your race ahead at the weekend. Obviously, the F1 guys raced yesterday, but everyone else that's on the grid that's not F1 can give something a go if they're a bit in between strategies. Just have a look at it, see how it works out. So, yeah, it's a useful practice to be in.
Yes, it is, and we're just waiting for the session to get underway. FP usually does have a few delays in getting things underway. I mean, their race thread only goes up a day before the race from recent observations, but I think we're probably waiting for V at the moment. I don't know if you've ever raced Max V 99 before.
I don't think I have. No, I don't think I've had the pleasure, unless we've had him in a pre-season or something. But no.
Oh.
No, I think I raced a fair few of these, but not all of them. What GT Sport names as well popping up. So yeah, I think Ash and Waco have raced in, and Juho Finn as well, raced in GT Sports.
Yeah, and Juho Finn, he's been around for a decade. That man,
he has. Yeah.
Just doesn't know when to call it a day. He's one of the most respected drivers. And we've got a request in the chat. Ask Aaron to give a run through the most experienced drivers on the grid. I think we'll save that during the race when there may not be much action on.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. Yeah.
But there's a lot of experience in this one, isn't there, Simo?
There's a fair bit. Yeah, I mean it's tough to say who's got the most. It's F4 or FP, isn't it? It's a close run thing.
Yeah, and
we've got multiple champions in F4.
Yeah, look at the list of names on the side. I mean, all of them scream experience, you know. They scream, you know, pleasant drivers to race against, and you know, sometimes I wish I would have put myself down on this grid to have a little spin around. But no, I think I'm more than happy in F1, and I'm happy to share the commentary box with you tonight. So Simo is standing in for Hulk, who's got a 48-hour exam today, and I wonder what conditions we're going to get.
Yeah, if it gets really slow in the middle of the race, we can always read that passage that Hulk shared with us earlier on Charlemagne. Just to teach everyone a bit of history while we're doing this.
Yeah, I'm sure our viewers would love a lesson in that. A lot of students, I'm sure, tuning in today, maybe studying for history, could find it quite useful. And just at the bottom of my screen, I don't know if that was a bird, a shadow of a bird or something, but let's move that out of the way. So Ash Best is first out on track. We always give him too much coverage. I don't know if we can. But we'll stick with him on board. Just describe him going up Eau Rouge and cold tyres here.
Actually, I have to go on board with him, won't I? I mean, he's on the ultra soft, so he's obviously decided the McLaren isn't quick enough to go supers with, which is probably a fair call. I mean, he'll just be taking it nice and easy. You don't want to, like I say, these will wear out too fast. But does Ash Best know how to take it easy? Does he do slow driving? I know.
Yeah, it is a dry quali, Mark. It is a dry quali. So we've got a few drivers out there on track. I don't know who we should go on board with. I mean, what would you recommend, Simo?
Well, good for experience. That's what we want to see, I think, in the early parts of quali. Well, we could always go on with Championship leader Warren Haig. He's out having a bit of a warm up.
Yeah,
and as I say that, the experienced pair of Big C and Mr. Grumpy are heading out on track.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think, as much as I don't want to go on board with Ash Best, he's the furthest out on track, and he is the reigning F1 champion, Simo. I think your voice is cutting out slightly. I don't know if there might be lag on my end or your end. Yeah, I don't know how the stream's appearing for people, but do comment if there's any issues.
Yeah, we'll do. It sounds okay for me at the minute, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah. Are you actually viewing the stream while you're?
I'm not. No.
Ah, right, that's cool.
I've got the comments up, but I've not got the. Let's pop out the chat. Oh, yellow flag in sector 3 already.
I wonder who that is, but we're on board here with the man who's third in the championship at the moment in the Formula Performance League is Ash Best, as he goes up Eau Rouge here, and he looks very comfortable in the McLaren Honda. He's obviously going to be down on horsepower, so people tuning in today need to remember that it is a Formula Performance League here, And Ash Best coming up to Lacoon here, Simo, and I think he's got it spot on, hasn't he?
Oh, it looked nice and smooth. It flips me on board. Yeah, beautiful. Flick it to the right. Take it down to whatever this corner's called. I should get a track map up and do some research, but yeah, it all looks very neat and tidy as it always does. And says as the back end goes.
Yeah, it's looking.
Well, you got to throw the McLaren around. You got to drive it like an animal, haven't you?
Yeah, and there are a few animals on track here today, and none other than Mr. Grumpy, one of the oldest animals in the jungle here today, looking to, prey on some of the lesser experienced drivers for this race. But Ash Best here, he's on a decent lap, and I know Oogie said he was doing 45s in the McLaren, which is almost 3 seconds off the pace he would be doing an equal car performance. So it'll be interesting to see what Ash Best does here.
This is where I'll be maxing out his ERS and everything. That's all into the bus stop. Yeah, very neat and tidy.
Oh, shit.
Bit of power across the line, and what's come up with a 46.
I don't know who else is out there.
He's looking got a Walker also got across the line, is he? Yeah. Let's have a shout. So Warren Haig, I think, is going to be up next to the main ones. I've got my track map working now, so now all sorts of stuff going on.
Sorry, I've just lost my trail of thought. So on board with Haig as he crosses the line, goes 5th in the Toro Rosso. It's not a great lap time, but there is one man who I want to catch on board. It's Mr. Grumpy in the Force India here, Simo. You know this man very well. He's one of your rivals, and now just describe the end of the lap and how he must be feeling in that cockpit.
Oh, he'll be calm as anything. You know, everyone gets a bit of nerves before the race, but with so much experience behind him, he knows what he's doing around this track. He knows almost every bump like it's the back of his hand. In fact, he's probably driven more laps around here than he's seen the back of his hand.
Yeah,
and he knows what to do. He knows where his break points are. So he'll just be putting it around. He must have invalidated that first lap because, just letting all the youngsters have their moments, I think, warming up his tyres.
Yeah, and I know Dano's in the pits today, but it is quite a big moment for Dano today. I know that he said that he'd lost his grandfather yesterday, so we do wish to send out our condolences and to that, and he is going to be sporting an all black helmet for this race, so we wish Dino all the best for this race for today as we ride on board.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a moment there. Is Dino coming out of the pits, do we know, or is he just going to do the one flying lap? We think we'll see how he does.
I think he might be waiting for the television cameras, but it'd be nice to get a full lap on board with him as Duofin locks up there into one of those tricky corners there. He's come out on this red wall tyre that's super soft, and he hasn't qualified in the top 10 for ages. What do you make of this decision, Simo?
Well, he's obviously confident with the Mercedes. That's a lot of power underneath him. So we'll see. He must be feeling like he needs that strategy, the benefit of the strategy, and he can give up the time in qualifying. But we'll see how he does as he comes round. He seems to be just struggling for grip on them a bit. They're also not as gearbox up, not as grippy as those lifts, and he's going to have to try and drive the wheels off it to make up that time that he's going to lose.
Yeah, and the Mercedes does have a good powertrain package, and he's probably got one of the best powertrain packages in the business here today. So, Duofin,
and a perfect track for it as well. Lots of long straights. If it was Monza, perhaps maybe a bit better, but this is a pretty power-hungry track.
Where is he going to put it? He goes 9, so that's a pretty decent lap. We'll just catch the end of Frizzo Stoltz lap, and we do want to get some coverage for Dano, a full lap on board, regardless of the battles up front at the moment. So we'll just see the Force India cross the line here. Is he going to be committed through Blanchimont? Yes, he is flat out. No struggles for grip here. Can he avoid locking up down to the bus stop chicane at 200 miles an hour? Oh, he locks up, goes a little bit deep, and will head straight for the pits. And Now we'll just wait for Dano to start a lap on board, and Simo, I am going to give you the whole pleasure of taking this full lap forwards here.
Well, I shall try and do it justice. Despite the fact I don't know any of the turn names apart from a couple of them, and I certainly can't pronounce them. Oh, he's left the session.
Well, see you later, Dano. Well, we won't get a lap on board with Dano. We've got a few people coming out of the pits. I think we've got Grumpy also returning back to the pit lane as well. I'm assuming he's not on a great lap. I know that JP Greenwood is coming out on the Super Sauce, but
yeah, see, Flying Fromans looks like he's on the lap when he's coming into the pits. He's going to struggle to turn that around in time.
And JP Greenwood starting the lap. Sorry, Simo. We'll let you take us through this one.
Oh, JP Greenwood then on the Super Soft. We may have plenty of time to enjoy this. I mean, he'll be fine. He'll be flying through all these corners, nicely going through. Oh, yeah, that big C, get out of the way. You don't want to catch a blue flag getting in the way of this Mercedes. It'll be rocketing down towards Eau Rouge. Let's see how he does through here. Oh, very steady. Oops, that's not a good time to change settings. He's nearly went wide there. Through the DRS activation point, blast it down the Kemmel Straight then towards whatever these corners are called.
It's called a little
wide. Yes. Runs a little wide. Seems to rescue it a bit in the second part. A little wide there on the third part, and then down towards this corner. And then the next one really does have no name, so I'm allowed not to know it. So he does know I need to stay a bit wide than that. It runs a bit wide. He seems to be struggling on those super softs. Obviously not giving him the grip he was expecting, so that's very wide through P1. Down to 6th gear, you really want to be taking that almost flat, especially in a Mercedes. Yeah, not quite getting it far enough over to the side of the track to really enjoy the best racing line, but it's an interesting one. It's certainly one that the others won't be trying, so it may work for him. We'll see. Oh. That's not going to work. Sorry, I was keeping it serious for a minute then. But anyway, as we blast up towards Blanchimont, just a little flick of the left, not that much of a flick, and then to the second one. Nice, and just blast it down to the bus stop. I much preferred the old bus stop setup, but this one's okay, I guess. No, it takes that quite nicely actually. Just ease it around to the left now, on the power, and across the line. With a
well, and Flying Frome
he certainly struggled.
Just gone off. So I don't know who's on lap at the moment. I think Ash Best is coming to the end of one of these flying laps here, because I know he did start his lap at the moment, and he's set to Delta. It's pretty reasonable at the moment. So he's in the McLaren Honda here, Honda Power, and the next car in 5th place, just in front of him, is a 3/10 cushion, and it's really going to be tough to make that up in this car, isn't it, Simo?
It certainly is. Yeah, let's see. AMS, I think, is just about to come across the line now. Let's see if he's going to improve anything. Or is he just starting? Must be just starting a lap. Who are we looking at? Ash Best?
Oh, don't think.
No, everyone just starting laps now.
Yeah, Big C's started one in the Haas, so we might as well give the PSGL F1 champion times 7, so 7-time champion in the Haas. There's going to be a lot of understeer in that car, but still pretty decent powertrain in the back of it.
Yeah, certainly is. You can't complain about a Ferrari engine. Presumably he's running fairly low wing. He's done this section. Mr. Grumpy retires. Hopefully.
Oh! He's crashed! Mr. Grumpy's out! Oh my goodness! Oh my god, look at the state of that. I don't know how he spun it off there, but Mr. Grumpy pushing the Force India to its limits. But we'll go back on board here with Big C. I know Jack's only a 10th off pole, but Big C is the man on the move at the moment. Will this be a personal best in the second sector? It definitely looks quicker than Ash Best by about 4/10 last lap, so he's on for a good one here, this Big C.
Yeah, he's got his fuel nice as well. I see it's less than a lap, so he's certainly isn't pushing the car around once he finishes this one back to the pits.
Yeah, Big C crosses the line. Joe Finn's gone 7th, so that's an astonishing.
Yeah, great lap.
Pole.
Big C on pole.
Can AMS respond in the Renault? It's Renault versus Haas for pole. And around a power-hungry track like this, I don't think we expected to see a Haas on pole. That's the credit to Big C's experience. But AMS to line doesn't improve. Can Jack Lacey improve in the sister Renault? Heading up to the bus stop chicane here, Simo. Walker goes forward. I think
Down to the line.
Oh, that is close.
That's tight.
And I think that's qualifying done and dusted for everyone. So it's Big C on pole from Jack Lacey. AMS in third. Walker in fourth. An incredibly close top three there. Grumpy in fifth. Frome in sixth. Brain in seventh. Ash in eighth. Jofin in the top 10 on the Super Sauce, and that'll be good for his strategy. Haig in 10th. Oogie outside the top 10. That's disappointing.
Well, this that bodes well for the race then, if that's how tight they're all going to be. That's an incredible lap from Big C. That's what 7 championships gives you.
Yeah, and Frizzo's just asked for what wings to run in this race. Oh mate, you'd need to run your wings in conjunction with your whole setups. I would probably go look for a 1.8 or a 1.7 depending on what conditions are. Oh, I wouldn't go 4.3 mate, I'd go 3.4. You're just going to get way too much oversteer. I'd switch that around. If you're going with 4.3, change that around to 3.4. Otherwise we might as well ride on board with you for the opening 2 laps and see you spin off into a barrier. But it is Big C on pole position here today, and should serve for an exciting race. I don't know if we've lost some people. I don't know if they're doing a restart, because there are some people missing off the grid, so see what happens.
Yeah, Haig thinks it's a restart.
Yeah, FP always seems to get a restart. Ooh.
That's a lot of rain.
Oh no. I was hoping for this one to be finished quite early. So we are having a restart, unfortunately. So we do apologise for the slight delay.
Well, ITV had a break yesterday while Britain's Got Talent went off the air, so we can't all be perfect.
No, we can't, as we just wait for the invites to be dished out. But just look at them starting in these tough conditions. A lot of drivers just getting the feel for the circuit there. I think we'll see some drivers flying to turn 1. No, they think it's the real thing.
Yeah, no, that's... well, it's worth getting a bit of practice in just of your break points, isn't it?
Yeah, so this isn't the real thing, guys. It isn't the real thing.
That's where you fly through.
Oh my god, who's that Tarossa? Wacko, isn't it? That doesn't look great.
Well, somehow, I don't know if you caught that one. That's fantastic crashing.
That's dramatic.
There's a McLaren, and I think Big C and knocked him out.
Yeah, but Frizzo and Haig definitely battling fairly at the moment. They think it's the race has started, but we are waiting for the session to come underway. And look at that.
Well, and Gaming Alimonda says what we're all thinking.
Well, esports ready, or
yeah.
is it internet ready for some? You know, some people may not have the internet to handle for this game, who knows? But a wet Grand Prix, people are going to be on the intermediate tyres here, so it should be interesting to see whether it gets wetter or drier. I don't know if any of the drivers could let us know the conditions in the chat, you know, preferably Warren Haig, if he's tuning in, just let us know what way the conditions were meant to go. As he's crashing out of this race. And Game Freak has asked, is Belgium the greatest track of the world? Spa-Francorchamps. It definitely is. It's my favourite track. I just love it. It's nice and long, loads of fast corners, high-speed corners. It's just a lovely track to drive. A good track to race against drivers as well. And obviously, when mixed conditions come into play, that always adds to the drama.
Yeah, we have a bit of a soft spot for Sochi, obviously. No, I'm joking, of course. No one likes that track. Yeah, Belgium's it's a classic track, and it's a classic track for a reason, isn't it? It offers up a good challenge and some good racing.
Yes, it does. And Warren Haig has just
said... of course.
Sorry?
Eau Rouge isn't quite the same corner as it used to be. Now, I'm sure the G-forces in an F1 car are amazing, but it is just easy flat now. There's without wanting to disparage them too much, there's not that much skill in taking it these days. There's so much downforce in these cars. So.
Yeah, it's like watering it down. It's like a packet of Walker's crisps. They'd usually have more in it back in the day, but nowadays it's half a packet full. So that's kind of what Eau Rouge has turned into. So Haig's just said that the first half is wet, the second half is dry. So
thanks. Yeah. Have you had an invite yet? I just got to Valtteri Bottas wins the race.
Right, I'll just toss you an invite, so my stream will be full. So I'll toss you a couple in case you lose connection. Just bear me a moment.
What would the name of my F1 team be? Asks Game Freaker, and what 2 drivers of PSGL would I sign?
Go on. So Simo's going to answer Game Freaker's question first about team name and the 2 drivers in PSGL. So go for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a team Simtech in the day, so I might just bring those back. It's a lovely slow car, and to accommodate that, I'd need a couple of drivers who had their struggles, I suppose. So who's good for those? See, now I've put myself in a corner. I don't want to be too mean to anyone yet. But let's think of some nice slow drivers. Well, Flying Chrome, obviously, he's terrible. He can't do a thing. He bottles everything. And who else is good? Or a bottle job. So let's go with Frizzo as well. That sounds like a good team, I think. They wouldn't win a thing. That sounds great.
That sounds great. And if I could choose a team, let's just choose an experienced team over the years. A Sauber, very experienced, been around for a long time, and 2 PSGL drivers. Well, I'd have to pick 2 PSGL drivers with a lot of wealth of experience, and you know who the first one's going to be. It's going to be Mr. Grumpy, who'd slot right in, and alongside him, I mean, you've got a lot to choose from in terms of experience, but I think maybe a bit of Jim Betrayer. I think Betrayer's
Jim Betrayer, yeah,
he could spice the action up a bit with his alternative strategies. So you into the lobby? Just double checking. Yes.
I am. Yes. Yeah. I mean, now I'm in and spectated, and we'll get the rhythm of these things.
Yeah. So hopefully this gets started very soon. Haig's race target is points first, and then try and beat Oogie. Well, I think both drivers are quite close to each other on the grid, so maybe you can beat Oogie as well. So. Yeah.
So Haig in the Toro Rosso, Oogie in the McLaren. You'd fancy his chances.
Yeah. Right.
But then Oogie is the only man to beat Ash Best so far this year, and in fact for quite a long time. So he's still got the moves.
Yeah, and Oogie has said ready when you are Ash, so I don't know what that means. So I think they're going to get this show on the road very soon. I mean, FP do suffer a lot of delays. I mean, it's quite consistent. I think this is the 3rd race out of the 4 where we've had some minor delays, but hopefully this will get underway shortly. As we can see, the drivers lighting up, so we will be underway very soon.
Of course, this all ruins their preparation as well, doesn't it? They're all ready to go in that those wet conditions. I'll see if anyone can keep their nerve. Find that break point that they found in the practice start, and off you go.
And everybody can actually choose their setups again as well. And Frizzo keeps saying, I can choose my wings now, so tell me fast. I mean, I'm not an expert on wings around here. I mean, I'd need to give you the whole setup. So if you want some wings at random, 3-4, mate. 3-4. So I'll just slap that in the chat. I mean...
Yeah, well, maybe like a 210 or something with 11 ballast. That's always good.
Yeah, no, that could work. And someone's even recommended hot wings.
Hot wings is a good call.
I agree. This is a nervy moment for drivers, Simo. A lot of drivers looking to get this race underway. They've had that delay of 15 minutes from qualifying, so the anxiety will be on in their little hearts. But Big C on pole position at Spa-Francorchamps. He's won this race 4 times in the PSGL F1 League, so he's hoping to add to his tally of victories around this majestic circuit in the Ardennes Forest.
Yeah, and he's in a good position to do it. You know, he's not going to get any spray off the line. That's always difficult at this sort of event.
It is, but it's going to be lights out and away we go. And look at that, Big C getting away reasonably well. The Renault's getting away smoothly, and it all seems okay down into turn 1. It's a very tight corner. You can easily tap another car. Toro Rosso going off in the background. I think that's Haig, but Big C pulling away reasonably well, and I think nobody's picked up any damage so far. But
yeah, Haig's struggling a bit with some dirty tyres, I think, going off the track there, but he should be okay. Oh, and JP Greenwood's dropped to the back. He made a mistake up the hill.
That's a shame, and we're just going to look at the back here. Has anybody missed their braking zone? I think that's Ash Best making a move on Throne there in the background. So Throne getting his braking slightly wrong in these wet conditions. There's a Haas going sideways at CC Brain, but nobody picking up damage so far. And the big winner from that lap was actually Frizzo, who's picked up 4 positions.
Oh, it's a great start for him, yeah, definitely. So you got this is people like Ash to make some. You got to take a like Ash to try and make some places up in this wet section of the race. He is strong enough to.
No, he's definitely strong.
Best chance. He's going to struggle with that car in the dry.
But look at that, Jack Lacey all over the back of Big C here. Is Renault versus Hassan. I'm sure the Renault would go much better here in the wet weather conditions. Big C not always a wet weather specialist, but look at that, everybody getting away well, and that's good to see. Nobody wants to damage their wing on the opening lap around Spa. It's a long way back to the pit lane, and look at that, Jack Lacey going a little bit wide, and just behind them, I know Waco's under a bit of pressure down into the chicane. Oh, he's got cut the corner and he's a pass to force, and he's got to give that position back. Grumpy does take it back, and you know, Waco can't attack down the next straight. He won't. Is it going to be free abreast here, Simo? What's happening?
Oh, this is the right one. That's what we're going to see. You've got Ash in the middle of the Haas, and oh, there's just cars everywhere. And somehow they all get through cleanly. That's great driving.
Ash just hasn't got the horsepower down there, but CC Brain certainly has, and that's what he calls sight and stuff down there. And it's really hard to get up Eau Rouge as well, so some drivers will be struggling with their exits as well, Simo. Just talk us through this action here.
Oh well, where is any action? They're all a bit line still. There it is. I just pulled away from that one for a minute. That's also a nice overtake attempt there, but not quite getting the car alongside. Oh, are we getting a little bit of a Waco train forming there, or is it grumpy ahead? Is it an experienced train, an experienced train driver?
Yeah, it has to be Mr. Grumpy. Years of experience of backing up the pack, and maybe it's tactical. You back up the pack and hope that some drivers behind collide, and that just eases off the pressure later on. You know, so very tactical here from Mr. Grumpy. And look at those conditions, spray everywhere. What CC Brain cannot see a thing. He cannot see a thing.
Yeah, I should probably go on board rather than watching from the TV camera too much, just to get a feel for what these guys are seeing. Well, exactly, the further back you go, yeah, Ash certainly struggling to see things as well. Yeah. And any little mistake from the three in front of him and he's going to be all over them. Like CC Brain goes a bit off the track there, get away with it. Yeah, you can find yourself in trouble very quick in these conditions.
That's for right. And look at that! Oh, CC, is that Waco or CC Brain? One of them almost sideways out of Blanchimont. And look at that Ashbest trying to make a move around the outside. He's got far more grip there in the McLaren Honda. And oh, he has to back out of that. And Brain definitely struggling with the traction. There's a battle going on for the lead. Oh my goodness me! JP Greenwood! JP Greenwood's out!
Oh no, what's he done? He's lost at the end of Blanchimont. I was on the way to the bus stop and it's just, oh, that's not a nice place to be. After all that attempting with the super softs, which is a strange strategy call in qualifying now, seeing as he knew it was going to be wet, but we'll let him off with that one. That's a shame. It's a shame to see him in the wall.
Yeah, I wonder if we could get a word with him here in the party. I don't know if you've got him added, but if you do, just toss him an invite and we'll get his
I don't think I have. I'll have a quick check.
Yeah, just type in JPG and I'm sure recommendations will come up, but if not, don't worry. But it is settling down quite nice and top three pulling away, and as you said, a train behind Mr. Grumpy and CC Brain all over the back of Waco, and Ben Ashbest likewise. It's going to be over the back of them, back to CC Brain soon as well. And oh, he's going for a move. He's going for a move, this CC, and I think he's going to get it done on Waco, and he does. That is a beautiful overtake in intermediate wet weather conditions.
Yeah, I do have him. So we've got an invite gone out to JP. Hopefully we'll get his thoughts.
And I think CC Brain is the man who's going to be looking to make a move. The battle for the lead's also getting reasonably tight, so I don't want to switch off this battle between CC and Mr. Grumpy, because I think it's getting quite tight at the moment. And it looks like that's where the action's at. And further behind, that's all over the back of Waco. We will get the thoughts of JP Greenwood in a second. But Ashbest going for a dive from down the inside, and oh, Waco closes the door. And meanwhile, CC on Grumpy here, Simo.
Oh, sort of move in front then. Oh yeah, nicely behind him now. He's not quite close enough unless he overdoes it a bit, but can he get a decent run out of here down the hill? Which has really put a bit of pressure on if you can get in there, but with our Haas against the Force India, you've got to fancy Mr. Grumpy's Mercedes engine to take him down the hill quickly enough.
Yeah, he's had bad exits that way, really.
Yeah, this is where you're going to make your time up. No DRS, of course, because of the rain, but that's a great run, and he's certainly getting very close now. Mr. Grumpy, it's going to make him go. He's going to make him go the really long way.
Oh, Grumpy doesn't want to give him any space.
Using everything, but CC Brain got past him. Not quite. He's not quite made the move stick, Mr. Grumpy.
That break too
with
late,
that reputation as a tough defender, and this is why you see it.
Oh my God! Behind, it's free abreast. Look at that. AMS making a move on Ashbest here. Ashbest defends, and momentarily we do want to get the thoughts of JP, and I'm sure we will after a collision or something. But we might even get the thoughts of one of these 5 drivers as well if they retire early. But shall we go for it? Shall we have a
Let's
little
go for
word?
JP. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens here. We can just gloss over it. But Simo, any questions for JP?
Yeah, go on. I mean, I can give it a classic. Just talk us through what happened there. We saw where you'd crashed off, but it just get a bit of a tank slapper coming off the left-hander.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, basically. Once the car started to go around, I couldn't really do much to save it, to be honest, and yeah, hit wall and minus a wheel. So yeah, not good, but I wasn't really looking forward to this track anyway, even in the dry, letting it wet, so just one of those things.
It's a shame. Sorry, JP. There's a battle for the lead. The positions have changed for the lead. Big C's overtaken Jack Lacey for the lead, and we'll come back to you. But this is getting really scary down the Kemmel Straight now. Big C didn't want to give that position up, but Jack Lacey's got the move done. Will he get the slipstream back down the Kemmel Straight here? I don't know if he's going to be able to make a move around the outside. If Jack brakes later, then he'll have this covered, and he brakes just on time, and he should pull away now. So that's a great move. But back to JP.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's most of the people, certainly in the chat and everything, are saying how much they like this track. So I'm just interested as to why you're not such a fan of it.
I don't know. I just can't really get the grips of it, to be honest. Nothing wrong with it in real life terms or anything like that. It's a great track. I've actually been to Spa, so I do like it. But in terms of just driving around here, just not quick. There's people. I know time trial is not the be all and end all, but there's people in time trial are comfortably beating most other tracks, but yet they're quicker than me around here. So I don't know. I just can't get the grips of it really. But
just one of those bogey tracks, yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And if one of the drivers here could crash out in the battle from 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places, all tucked up behind Mr. Grumpy, just in one name, who's your money on, JP, to crash out of this 5-man train?
To crash out? Interesting question. I'd probably go Duho, to be honest.
Yeah, he's not too far off the back of that. Definitely some
that's a late move from
animosity there.
Ash.
Oh my god! Oh, I haven't seen that. Oh, look at how slow they are, all out of the Boston.
They're going 3 wide down to the La Source. There it is. I remember the name of the corner.
Free in the bed, as Malk would say. One of the former drivers in PSGL. I know Brain and Grumpy are battling over 4th and 5th, but we can't take our eyes off this. AMS and Ash Best and side by side, almost up Eau Rouge, but not in wet weather conditions. I'm sure the Red Bull will get a run here. Sorry, it's not AMS, it's Flying Throne. I've got the wrong
Flying
person.
Throne, man.
They're looking at Ash Best here on Walker. I know there's a battle further up the road between Grumpy and CC Brain, and I do want to catch that one, and CC Brain has got the move done, so kudos to him.
They just shouldn't be allowed to all race at the same time. We keep missing these incidents.
Yeah, but luckily we've got the words in from one of the more agricultural drivers in JP Greenwood, so
I know. I mean, it's good that we talk regularly here, and it's not always for the right reasons, because I'm retired or something, but I do appreciate the interviews.
No, it's fine, because we believe, every driver has a chance to, have their say, if they crash out of the race or, put in a good shift or have a disappointing race. It's always nice to get some words for our viewers. And Gaming Adamondo says CC's running lower wings than the others, oversteering all the time. Perhaps, or maybe because he's running off traction as well, so it'll definitely be hard on the traction zone. So, Flying Frame here, closing right on the back of Ash Fest here, but just not enough. And I think there's a bit of debris out there. I don't know who's picked up that. Mr. Grumpy, has he picked up damage? No, I've got.
Around that point in the track, I think it's our guest in the commentary box that may have deposited that debris on the track.
Always happy to be of service.
Yeah. It's a shame. Oh, flying chrome goes to the move. That's a late one.
Got the brakes all wrong there. Got them all heated up. Definitely not got the screws on the brake bias as flying chrome. Definitely not flying out there at the moment. But Ashbest looking like one of the best drivers up Rude at the moment. So the grid is spaced now. And AMS in the runners tucked up behind Big C. Jack Lacey, after getting the move done, he's pulling away in the lead. So I think he'll be looking to go on and win this race. But we do know conditions are meant to turn dry here. And any words on that, Simon?
Yeah, I mean, dry racing is quicker than wet racing. If that's a fine call. What do you want me to say on that one? So anyway, so CC Brain is running lower wings. Let's go with that, and that's going to suit him well when it gets dry. So obviously, all the faster cars should enjoy the dry conditions a bit better. So it's really Ash is probably suffering the most out of all that battling. He wants to try and get ahead of Wacko and Mr. Grumpy and try and pull a bit of a gap because he's going to get caught, you'd imagine, when it goes a bit drier.
Yeah, and Mr. Grumpy doing a great job of keeping ahead of these two drivers who are in the PSGL F1 league. So I know Wacko's struggling to get close enough to Grumpy in the Toro Rosso at the moment, but we're hoping it does turn dry pretty soon. I mean, the drier it is, the quicker the cars go and the quicker we can all get to bed. Wacko here at the moment is absolutely pumping it in around Blanchimont. Can he get the braking right into the bus stop chicane? Grumpy a little bit tentative, using all of his experience to slow down the car. And look at that. Ashbest closing in.
Who's picked up that 10-second penalty? That's always good fun.
Running in the points. I'm sure he won't be too best pleased with that. And I'm just in the mood to grill someone today. And I think it's been quite an embarrassing drive from Ugi Azim so far in P12 in the McLaren Honda, and he's just been off the pace compared to his teammate Ashbest, who's also in the McLaren Honda, just miles off the pace, stuck behind the Toro Rosso. Warren Haig unable to find a way through. And I mean, Ashbest is also stuck behind a Toro Rosso, but I mean, Wacko's more
much further up the track though.
Yeah. But Ugi Azim disappointing so far.
Yeah, well, we'll pass on those thoughts and feelings. Or if he watches the stream back, I'm sure he'll enjoy the sentiments. So
we're just listening in.
Yeah.
You just want to see someone spin out at this moment in time, don't you? You just want to see someone having a shaky rear end. And I just feel like, with Mr. Grumpy's intermediate tyres getting cooked, with that Mercedes engine, which is obviously going to produce a lot more power output through the corners, I think his tyres will be the first to go. And I think it's a telling sign, because Wacko is now 4 tenths behind Grumpy. It's the closest it's been in a long time. But he's just got no straight line speed, has he? But he's doing okay in the slipstream.
No, he's doing well, keeping up with him. Gives himself a chance, definitely. If Mr. Grumpy makes any mistakes, he'll be on him, but that's a rarity. When he's got so much experience driving, you don't tend to make mistakes. And in fact, as I say, that Wacko makes the mistake.
And that's going to present an opportunity for Ashbest there. And I don't know if Wacko's going to leave the inside open. I'd cover it down here. Track position's vital. I think if the inside's open, Ashbest will treat himself, and he's going to have a little treat down into turn 1, and a little bit of contact to get the move done, but he's not going to get the power output here. The Toro Rosso's going to have much better traction. I hope they don't go side by side up Rouge. One of them's going to have to back out. I don't think both these drivers are. Oh, yellow flags out there somewhere. It's Ugi! It's Ugi! Oh, is it? Oh no! Did he make contact with someone? Dano's lost a bit of his wing. And Ugi Azim, has he got a puncher? I don't know what's happened. Did he pit?
No, he didn't pit. No, he's just.
Oh, sorry, I better go back up the line for him and Ash.
Still at the pace, I'm not sure what's happened. He must have just lost it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the commentator's curse, but I don't know if it was.
Well, you said he'd been driving badly and he just wanted to make sure you were right, so that's nice of him.
Exactly. I always know what I'm talking about, Simo. Even though I ramble on about the experienced Mr. Grumpy, he's still doing a fine job in P5. There's action at the back. I think Dano has made a move.
Got past Frizzo as well.
Frizzo's picked up damage. Frizzo's got damage. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's definitely missed some front wing, isn't he?
He is. Look at that
there
going
he goes.
off the track. Yeah, it's a shame he was running the 3-4 wings around here. Obviously not producing enough downforce. I don't know who suggested those wings. Flying Throne will definitely be cursing whoever provided him with those setup details. And I can't see any points in the horizon for him.
No, he's running the 1.5 wings now at the front, isn't he? And that Lacey with the fastest lap, so is he getting drier or has he just found a rhythm?
Maybe he's found a rhythm, but what Gaming Adamonda said is that it can dry up in any second. It suddenly dried out yesterday, so we could see split conditions. Obviously, this was a restart, so they would have manually set the conditions to their liking, so whoever's hosting the lobby will have the inside knowledge as to when to expect it to dry up.
Are the cars normal for all of you guys? They're not like shaking or splitting themselves in half like has been happening the last couple of days?
No, not at the moment, but I hope we do see a car split in half soon. As we ride on board with Frome against Ash Best here, and I think we're going to be staring at this battle for quite a while because nothing's happening until it does dry up. We'll see a lot of flurry of activity, and at this stage of the race, people's intermediates, we're getting warned. Look at that, Ash Best out of shape. Will Frome treat himself to a move? No, it's better of it. And Simo, we're just going to take a look at Frizzo in the pit lane. He's just come out.
Nice fresh inters. This was indeed been it going out the pits.
Yeah, looks alright up Eau Rouge, so it'd be interesting to see if there's intermediates we're producing better lap times than I know. Big C's dropping off the lead as well, so in the Haas. AMS running a cosy third place as well, and then you've got Brain slightly behind him, fourth, also pulling away from Grumpy, but behind Mr. Grumpy you've got a bit of a traffic jam with Rocco right behind him. Now look at that, Grumpy's all out of shape, isn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's obviously struggling. Like I said, that Mercedes engine is going to be ruining those intermediate tyres, especially if it starts to slowly dry out. They'll be overheating, he's going to be struggling for grip, and that's going to make it nice and interesting for the cars behind him, see if they can take advantage of a bit of an issue that the experienced man might have. But he's looking nice and tidy through the bus stop.
Yeah, and I'm just looking behind. I think Ash Best is also going to be closing back up on this battle. And he had a moment last lap, but he's just taken out 0.5 of a second, half a second in that last sector. So Mr. Grumpy enjoying fifth at the moment, but if he gets the pit stop wrong, he could be jumped by 3 cars. And Joe Finn's only 3.2 seconds behind this pair, or this quadruple trio of cars, or whatever you want to fucking call them. But
This quad of cars? Let's go with quad of cars.
Yeah. Gaggle. That's one of the more popular terms. Right.
This cluster. Oh wait, we're on PG, aren't we? Keep it clean for the kids.
Yeah. Apologies for the language there. We don't know where that came from, but we do really want this to heat up here, don't we? And we're going to go down to our pit lane reporter, JP Greenwood. Are conditions changing in the pit lane? What are teams looking to do?
Well, they're going to need to try and get these inters to last until the dry phase. They don't want to be making any more unnecessary stops before the dry weather comes out. But I mean, depending on each driver's tyre wear, sometimes they might have to. It depends how long the intermediate's going to last. They have done 11 laps, which is like half the race already. So it's not an indefinite tyre life on the intermediate tyres. But so yeah, they're just going to be hoping that the dry weather comes sooner rather than later.
No, thank you so much, JP and Simo. Look at this. Wacko's still not able to get close enough to Grumpy down there, is he?
No, actually, well, that's a big close from Ash Best still to breaking, so we'll see how they do. We've got this quadruple trio coming down the start-finish straight now. I think we're going to fancy a big old dive bomb. Doesn't look like it. This is a mistake. I think they've all found the rhythm now, just found the spot, and they're just settling in, manage their tyres, and Big C.
Yeah, well,
that's a rare penalty.
It's a rare penalty, but the man knows how to cheat. As Grumpy gets rude, a bit wrong. So Grumpy has got rude slightly wrong. I'm sure he cut the corner up there. But you know, you've got to hang on to your position by all means necessary. And if you've got 3 jokers, you know, before you get a penalty, you might as well use 1 or 2 of them up while you can. But just describe what you're seeing on board with Wacko tonight. These intermediate.
Oh right, let's go on board and see what I can see. Oh, I can see some nice spray on the back of a pink car that I would be fed up of by now. I mean, he must be sick of looking at the back of Mr. Rugby's car. I just want to smash into it if he's not careful, but you can't do that. So he'll cause all sorts of issues. Yeah. Although I'm saying that I did that on Sunday, I gave him a little nudge. You've got to give him the hurry up every so often. He sometimes comes out a bit like a Sunday driver. You just got to help him on.
No, that is right. And we're just going to get some questions here. Is Frome underperforming the Red Bull? Yes, he is. That car should be doing better in these conditions. But Gaming Adam Wonders just asked Simo, what is your best PSGL performance to date in your career? But just before we do that, Frome is all over the back of Ash Best here, and I think Big C's coming to the pits here. I don't think he can take those intermediates any longer. So there's no move there. So best race, Simo?
Best race? Well, I think it's probably Japan at the end of last season. Actually, we had a bit of wet starts, and pretty much all the way through the race. The last few laps were for the dries, and it was probably the best. I might second made the right call to switch just halfway through. But we decided to lap until the pit stop. Yeah, that's probably the best drive I've had. So I came second. I've had one other second and a couple of other questions, but the best drive.
Sorry, I've just got to cut you off slightly. I think Ash Best trying to make a move around the outside of Wacko in the intermediate conditions. Can he do it? Oh, it's really tight. Wacko not giving an absolute inch there. And look at that. Oh, desperate to hang it around the outside. And Wacko says, no, get off. Get away from me, and defends the inside, but Ash Best will not be happy with that. He'll be trying to use the grip to his advantage, but he has to stick behind for another lap as Big C emerges behind Duo Finn in ninth. So, Simmer, that sounds like an exciting race. Your voice was cracking a bit, so what was the track name?
What was the what?
What was the circuit?
The circuit, it was Japan. It was Japan. At the end of last season, there was... probably the best one to do. I've not got much more stories about times I've had bad races, but we'll leave those for later on.
And I think Big C's got a bedtime story for Joe Finn as he puts him to sleep by taking over that P8. That is a fantastic move around the outside on those fresh intermediate tyres. So Big C not confident conditions are going to dry out, scared of a puncture. This man usually isn't scared of much, but since Ash Best arrived on the scene, this man's been scared of everything. Been having nightmares as Ash Best, and right behind Wacko there. This could get dramatic into the bus stop chicane. Wacko defends the inside. Ash Best, is he going to have a move around the outside? No, he can't. Wacko deep into the braking zone there, Simo.
Yeah, it looks like it's covered up quite nicely on the exit. Wacko gets the power down. Ash Best in the McLaren obviously doesn't have as much, and looks like falling from. He's going to fancy a nibble at Ashwell here. Oh, come on, you've got to have a go at that. What's action?
I mean, if he gets the braking zone wrong, he could definitely clobber into the back of the Toro Rosso, the sister team. I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate that. But Big C only 4 seconds behind this gaggle of cars, so he'll be closing in very rapidly. So Mr. Grumpy currently in P4 at the moment as Frome picks up a penalty, but this is going to be dramatic down the straight here. Again, Ash Best getting better at the slipstream. Can he do it around the outside, Simo?
No.
Oh!
Keep it short and sweet. I think Walker seems to have had that one covered actually most of the days. He's had a couple of goes at that one.
Oh!
And he's made a mistake.
Frome down the inside Ash Best, but I don't think Ash Best wants to give that one up. But he has to.
Well, he gave it a go. You have to. Well, he's still there, though, isn't he?
Oh, Ash doesn't want to give it up. Oh, great racing. Fair play to Frome, because I would have just turned in. I would have turned in, 10, 20 metres earlier for that corner.
Yeah.
And,
no chance, son. Yeah, you wouldn't be lending that one back. They'll be coming across the track there.
Interestingly, there's some blue patches in the sky, so I think dry weather is on its way.
Poor time for Big C then, but he's 1.3 seconds behind these guys. He is absolutely flying in the Haas. So 7-time PSGL F1 champion, Big C Esports semi-finalist as well. I don't know what else you want to call him. 40-time race winner as Ash Best gets all the way out of shape there, and that. Oh, I don't want to see side by side for Blanchimont in wet weather conditions. Someone's going to back out here, and the Red Bull does.
Well, luckily he did, because Ash ran wide. He wasn't giving it up.
Jack Lacey pits, as his brain.
And I suppose to answer Game Freaker's question, very fast. We don't need the telemetry to see how fast he's. Oh, he must have made a mistake, has he? Oh no, it just the timing screens went a bit off. So yeah, very fast. He's caught up right up to the back of him already. Let's have a look. So he took about 3 seconds out of him that last lap. Yeah.
That is incredible. So Big C. Was he trying to force an undercut on Jack? It didn't quite work out. So the championship contenders aren't in the points here. But look at that. Look at the drive Big C's had out of Eau Rouge there. He's going to have a run on Flying Frome. And could he even have Ash Best while he's at it? That would be something incredible if he goes for it. And no, it doesn't. All locks up slightly as well. And somebody's
focusing intently on this now. He's certainly enjoying that those fresh grooves that he's got there. Spraying all that water. If I was Martin Brundle, I'd tell you how much water it was a second.
And look at that, Big C. He needs to get this move done on Ash, because if it does dry up anytime soon, then Big C, may find himself sandwiched behind cars he shouldn't be behind, considering his pace over the course of this race. But Ash Best isn't an easy customer to get past. I don't think he'll make it easy for Big C, but I know Big C's, jealous of Ash Best. The man who's starting to steal the show as the hottest property on the PSGL site, taking over from Big C. So Big C will want to get his own back on Ash Best here.
Cheers, yeah, I think that number's about right there from Gaming Alimonda. It says it's 4.8 tonnes of water a second, and I'll believe that source. That's what Martin Brundle would say.
And Grumpy can't take those intermediates any longer than he has, and he's had to make a pit stop as the experienced Mr. Grumpy's relinquished P4. And look at that, Big C down the inside of Ash Best. There's Timo.
Big lock-up, but he's pushed about wide nicely. That's how you do it. That's how you make an overtake nice and clean. Rich down the hill and blast away from the young, well, I'd say pretender, but he's not a pretender anymore, is he? He's the reigning F1 champion and looking good for a second.
Yes, he is. And Big C now up against Walker now. This is for the final podium position. Big C has obviously got a time penalty, and we'd just like to say welcome to Human Fish, who's viewing the stream at the moment, and he said, Christ, it's drenched out there, and that it definitely is. And I don't know how many of you live in the UK, but it was absolutely pouring it down earlier today, monsoon conditions.
Oh well, that must be where you live. It was lovely up here. They usually say it's grim up north. It certainly wasn't. It was lovely up north. And Walker here's got to defend from Big C. Big C's got a lot more drive out of the corner. Big C will not want to make a move in haste. He knows he's got the podium in the bag should he get the pass done on the Toro Rosso driver, but anything can happen around Spa.
and it usually does.
Yeah. Channeling Murray Walker, I like that.
Take us through this now.
Well, he's going to go round the outside at your favourite point. Is he past? I keep pressing the wrong button to change the channel. Oh, he's miles past him right now. How much can those fresh into? Can he make up that time? Well, Jack Lacey puts in a fastest lap. But can he make up those 10 seconds to the cars in front?
Well,
AMS,
you're right. There's a battle for the lead going on. I think we should probably turn our intention to the Renault drivers, and it is going to dry out very soon. But look at that drive Jack Lacey's got out of there. Jack Lacey in the Renault. Can he get the move done? This man has been waiting to win a race on PSGL for quite some time. Hasn't won on this game. Former PSGL F1 champion, of course, and he gets the move done, takes the lead, and you just expect that he'll go on to win this race. My effing time, says Jack Lacey, and I'm sure it will be. Ash Best on Wacko. Oh, that is.
Slip back at a great time there.
CC Brain's got back some chrome.
Yeah, CC Brain also another driver on the fresh intermediate conditions, so the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. I mean, Ash is doing a great job in the McLaren Honda. He's finally going to be able to put away now. Wacko was that one of the roadblocks along with Grumpy, but I think Ash's tyres are holding up well, Wacko's certainly isn't, and it is drying up. I wouldn't be surprised to see drivers in this lap for dry tyres here, guys.
Yeah, Wacko seems like he's getting a bit of a push from CC Brain there. With a bump draft. Yeah, certainly if it's anything like F1 yesterday, it just seemed to dry up in an instant. They just all of a sudden decided it was dry and they were going 10 seconds quicker.
Yeah, and Wacko's tyres are finished. Look at that throne behind Wacko as well. Surely someone's going to have to come in for dries. Who's going to fancy the chances? Still a little bit slippery out there. But is Ash Best? Ash Best is in. Let's see what tyres he puts on.
Ash Best.
Surely
it's got to be ultra softs, really.
I might, yeah, ultra surely. Maybe even supers for more consistency. I don't know. It's going to be ultras, isn't it?
Yeah. Ooh. Did he appear out of the garage from everyone else then, though?
Yeah, he did, but he's out there on the ultra softs, and it'll be interesting how he does. Look at that! Look at the drive that Frome's got on Wacko here. These two have been going hammer and tongs, but you just feel Frome's going to have to grip around the outside, and Wacko doesn't want to give this position up. He doesn't. Oh, got the wrong shot, and he has to give it up.
Well, I've just had a look at Ash Best, and he's been taken by Mr. Grumpy coming down the hill, so he's struggling to get those tyres warm at the minute. And he's falling back towards Ugi Azim. Aaron's driver of the day.
No, definitely not my driver of the day. But what is he's gone in a lap too early. Oh my god, the man who's third in the championship, he's gone in too early. Did we give wrong advice? That was drying up, and Ashbeth usually watching the streams. Have we dummied him in? And Warren Haig could be licking his lips for the final point here. I mean, conditions will dry up, they can change in the flicker of an eye, in half a lap, but look at that, Ashbeth getting out of the way. And that means Mr. Grumpy is now up into 8th place.
I can tell you from being in game chats with Ash all the time, there'll be steam coming out of his ears in a minute. Out of his helmet.
Yeah, I mean, nothing else is going on, so we'll just see whether the tyres do come back to Ash Best at this stage of the race, but I don't think they are. And
the people you need to feel sorry for at this point is Frobe and Grumpy, because they're in a game chat with Ash and Dano as well, and he was been moaning like anything, and he had to have like a patience of a saint to be in a chat with him, and yeah, so have a spare thought for those guys.
But if we look there...
We'll see if their times drop off then.
So a lot of drivers coming in for dry. So I think the tyres are starting to come back to asbest now. I think it's right on the cusp. Well, I don't know if we've seen the DRS enabled sign, but it could happen any point this lap. Look at that. Conditions do look bone dry at this moment. And look at that. There's a flurry of cars coming out of the pit lane. This looks exciting. Look at that. Joe Finn versus asbest. Is it going to be side by side up a route? Surely not. Surely not. Push him off, Joe. Push him off. Push him off, and he backs off. Oh, yes! What's going on here? What's going on here? Oh, my God.
Oh, no. Joe's lost it.
Oh, no.
He's okay. He's still in the race.
Oh, he's got a damaged wing. Oh, no. He's not going to get points, but, oh, he was scared. He should have just put his foot down. He should just put his foot down, come what may, but that is surely the end of the dream for points for Joe. Been running brilliantly all race, one of his best performances in recent memory. And look at this Walker on the back of Hay.
There was DRS. Who fancies it with 3 laps to go?
And look at that Hay. Oh, it's on the grass. I think Oogie's gone. Oogie's gone.
Yeah, no, it's a good point there from Gaming Alimonda. That'll be the Toto Wolff banging the table gif coming out.
Yeah, and Warren Haig will be delighted to see his championship rival, Oogie Zine, retire from the session. The first driver, well, the second driver behind JP Greenwood to cut his race short.
AMS could be in trouble here because he's going to get held up, or could get held up behind that, won't he?
Top 5 are pitting.
Right, let's have a look. There's a delay on the tyres. I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be back out. Second flurry of activity in the pit lane. The Hasses are having to queue.
Oh,
CC
no.
Brain having to queue behind Big C, and that will allow Flying Throne to get a piece of the action. And oh dear, poor pit stop there for the Haas guys. And everybody is in the pits now for the dry tyres, and you know, Mr. Grumpy as well. Let's just look at him come out of the pit lane here. He's going to be on for some nice healthy points, isn't he, in the Force India? And Joe's in as well, again, to repair his damage.
Ooh, drifts it out a bit.
Damage limitation for Ash. He has come out all of that in P7, where he was looking pretty bad at one point, but it seems to have recovered now.
Yeah, lap too soon is what I'd say, but he'll definitely be more up to grips with these conditions than the cars in front of him. But being on the ultras, and you know, and that older ultras as well, is not doing him any good around a track like this where the tyres wear out so quickly. And look at that CC Brain sideways, and that will definitely open Ashbest's sides up a little bit. But I don't think the grid order's going to change here unless there's penalties. That will shift up the order. I know Big C's got a penalty or two, so he'll need to stay far enough in front of Wacko.
Yeah, there's a few penalties around. I can have a run through them, or we'll just keep it a mystery if you fancy.
Well, you might as well save your voice because you've done a lot of talking, Simo, and I'm going to make you do some more. I'm going to make you do some more talking here with Flying Frame all over the back of Wacko here. He's enjoying the dry conditions. Look at him.
What car's Wacko in? I've forgotten now.
He's in Toro Rosso with Flying Frame and the Red Bull behind.
So this is the your car, then you'd fancy his chances. And this is the sort of position you'd expect him to be in, given the Red Bull. It's, since we just, just not quite getting it. The rain's still falling on the camera, so it's not 100% dry. As I said, Wacko goes very fast. But he's going to have to send one at some point. You've got to channel your Danny Ricciardo and lick the stamp. I know he's already had one go at it and missed it, but you got to have another go. You can't die wondering. Not in FP anyway, you know, you might do in oh, Dano gets a penalty. Now Wacko's had this defended from Ash all day, this move, so yeah. Another late move back in, perfect, and covers him off nicely. I don't think you overtake Wacko around the outside there.
No, you can do it here though, you can do it here, you might as well, and he is, to send it down the inside, and look at that, and there's a Haas almost trying it as well. Oh, he must have, has he chipped a bit of his wing there, the CC Brain? I don't think so, he's got a lot of drive, look at that, Is he going to go for it? This is risky. This is risky. He is. Oh. And Mocko pulls right out of it.
Way.
Beautiful move. Phenomenal.
Well, this is the kind of driving that you see in PSGL, isn't it? It's just great stuff all the way through the grid. Look, plug there.
If Frome can start pulling down the hammer down, he could probably get that. He needed to get that 2 second deficit he needs to take the podium away from Big C. That's 2 seconds, well, 5 seconds behind, so he needs to catch up at least 2 seconds there. It's great.
That's a very good observation there. JP's AMS sets the fastest lap of the day, and I don't think we're going to get too much action at the moment. Big C goes even faster, showing how he would have favoured dry conditions here today. That would be a good podium for Big C if he can hang on to it. But if Frome has got a penalty for himself, then you know CT, Brain and Mocko will be looking to lick their lips. And I think Brain's actually got a bit of pace here, so I wonder if these two are going to battle towards the end. I don't know if Frome's low on power at the moment, low on fuel load. We'll just see if we can look at a bit of telemetry details. I know CC Brain's out of fuel. No! Flying Frome's got +2 laps of fuel. That is that's crazy.
It's been taking care of those. But it's certainly not unheard of for him to have penalties. So. He used to make it a thing. If he got a penalty, he'd have a drink. But he soon got through a lot of alcohol doing that, so the doctor advised not to.
Yeah, and we would like to send our best wishes out to Flying Frome again. I know he did injure his eye a couple of weeks back, looking after his nephew's puppy as well.
Oh, he's been milking that for weeks now.
He's been milking it, but one man is going to be milking every moment of this Formula Performance victory in the Ardennes Forest. It's Jack Lacey, the former PSGL F1 champion. He's going to win his first race on the F1 2017 game. It's been an agonising wait. It's been a long wait, but it's going to be relief for Jack Lacey as he wins for Renault. And it's a hefty sum of points coming home to Exeter Gently, their team name. And AMS will pick up a great second place, a good drive from the league admin. But look at this, Big C on the podium and take us through this semi. The rest of the drivers coming across the line here, look at them. Just look at them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just beautiful sight, isn't it? Looking nice, clean driving across the line. No one's messing around. That's what you like to see.
Ashman's got P5 out of all that.
So penalties. Having their
order. Then we're going to give it a flick.
Oh, Duo and Dano off the battle of the final point. Dano doesn't want to give this up. He doesn't want to give this up. He's racing here, sporting the black helmet. And look at that. He's defending his life. But I think penalties are going to come into the play and he's going to lose that final point. No, he doesn't. He gets the final point. Dano picks up the final point. That is a great drive from the Ferrari driver. Fantastic. Absolutely phenomenal.
Right. Cheers to that, guys. I'll catch you later.
No, thank you, JP.
Right. Cheers.
Good to have you there.
Cheers.
And I'll suggest the podium drivers in just a second.
Oh.
But let's just drink this moment in for Jack Lacey, Simo. Look at that. The engineer's very, very happy with his performance, and he'll be happy. He'll be delighted with that victory. Look at that, raising the champagne with AMS.
He certainly will. He may even have some sat in his own chair at home for enjoying that one. Like I say, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be looking to turn the fan on and open a few windows because I'm sure drivers would have been sweating. So we'll just go down the grid, a lot of penalties, but it's Jack Lacey winning the Renault. So Renault 1-2 with AMS in second. Big C taking the final podium in third after dropping down from pole position. CT Brain a good fourth in for Haas. Ashbest doing a great job to get fifth. Wacko sixth. Flying Frome seventh. Mr. Grumpy eighth. Haig in ninth, and Dano picking up that great final point for Ferrari, and it's just outside the points. Unlucky there. Frizzo in 12th, and Oogie DNFing again. A very disappointing performance from the man who's second in the championship. Retired yesterday in PSGL F1, and obviously JP Greenwood, who we heard from earlier in this race, crashing out. in the opening stages after an off-track excursion at Blanchimont. So we'll just wait to get the drivers in. So I'm just going to suggest a few more to the party. We might as well get a word in from Ash. I do want to speak to Frizzo or Fly and Frome. I don't know if they're ever online, are they? Or does Frome go right off after the race?
I can have a quick check as well. He likes doing the interviews, so we should try and invite him in.
Yeah, he was online a moment ago, but I've just suggested a few names. AMS doesn't do any interviews. I don't think he's got a working mic, which is a shame. But we will get the interviews underway in just a second. In fact, we might as well start now. So a great victory for you, Jack Lacey, from second or third on the grid. Is a great drive, and it's your first victory on the F1 2017 game, and you've done it at Spa-Francorchamps in a Renault. Sum up your emotions.
Not really any emotions, but yeah, it was a right race. It got a bit tricky at the end of the first intermediate stint, because obviously the tyres wouldn't have made it, or my tyres wouldn't. So AMS has managed to stretch his stint out to the dries. So I was lucky to overtake him again after I pit. So after I'd done that, it was pretty simple from there. But yeah, decent race.
Yeah, and just another question. I mean, heading into this race, there's been a lot of speculation around your future following incidents that have taken place off track. But I'm sure they've all sorted themselves out, and you'll be looking forward to a healthy end of the season and putting in a strong championship bid.
No, yeah, I know I'm going to stay in the league. People just want to be awkward, so it's alright.
No, Simo, any questions for Jack?
Not that I can think of immediately. No, sorry. You nicked all the S ones. We'll go with.
Okay, so we'll move on to third position man, 7-time PSGL F1 champion and esports semi-finalist, Big C. Following pole position and finishing third, you must be very disappointed with that drive.
No, I'm quite happy actually. I think Jack's one of the best wet weather drivers in the league, and I think we saw some of the fastest laps. He was a second quicker at times than the rest of the field. So, I think I did my best. I think third is a strong result. I think in the dry, I think we saw at the end, I was the fastest. So, it just is what it is. It was obviously I've not scored any points this season. It's not F1 2014, F1 2015 anymore. It's got to be look at it relatively, and I've got 12 points in F1, so a podium in FP. In the Haas, Haas isn't great in the rain, in my opinion. The traction was pretty poor compared to, let's say, a Toro Rosso, for example. But no, we'll take it, and yeah, it's a good starting point.
And just quickly, it must be quite demoralising to be beaten by your teammate in the F1 league here today. You ran circles around you. We saw that overtake. So there must be a hint of jealousy for you in that.
No, not at all. I mean, Jack have got a very good relationship. We both want to do well, and if I'm happy for him to win FP. He's not won many races in PSGL, so I'm quite happy for him in that regard. But no, I mean, we're very supportive of each other, like any team opponent should be. So yeah, well done to him, and yeah, P3 in the rain is good. If it was dry, I would have competed. Certainly very close for the win, but it is what it is.
Simo, any questions for the lovely Big C?
Yeah, I just wondered if he took a bit of joy in overtaking Ash when he put those fresh inters on and was just chomping through the fields.
Oh, I don't think there was much satisfaction, to be honest. He's in much style car with one tyres, and obviously Ash is probably the best driver on the site at the minute, so fair play to him. But no, it's always nice. Hopefully I kept to battle him a bit in F1, but with work and so on, I can't really practice races and even have a good practice season at the level. So yeah, hopefully I can actually battle an FP if I can't an F1. But yeah, we'll see.
Cool. Did any other drivers join the party?
I think we got Ash and Frizzo.
Yep.
Came in.
Okay, well, shall we... Who do we start with? Who finished first?
Ash was
Ash.
Definitely.
Just one thing, I cannot hear Simmer at all.
Well, I mean, you don't need to hear him, you know, you just need to feel his presence. Ash, mate, P5 around Spa, great drive, and you totally outclassed your teammate Ugi Azim, who failed to finish the race here today, and there's some good points all for you in closing in on the championship leaders in front, so you must be satisfied with 5th.
I mean, I'm happy with 5th, but thing is, I'm not going to challenge for the championship since I'm going to get the McLarens every single race till the last 2 races when I'm on pad. So it's like, I'm just trying to earn points for the constructors at this point and try and help out Ugi as much as possible. But I mean, if I can get involved in the championship battle, yeah, it'll be fun, but I don't think I have any intent in challenging for the drivers.
Okay, Simo, any questions for Ash?
Yeah, just sort of obviously with how much he's enjoying running out the front in F1, is it nice to sort of come into FP and get to actually battle with some people on track?
I mean, yeah, it is. The only problem is with the McLaren, you literally you cannot attack, but you can defend. So whatever I tried on Waco, I tried, but like just the straight line deficit heading into late comms was just too much, and I just could not. And you can't make moves in the middle sector, and went from on the back of me. Well, I can defend from him. Due to me being able to take the correct lines, but it's fun. Yeah, coming down into the mid pack and battling, but a bit frustrating at the same time, not having the ability to challenge, well, move up places due to the performance deficit.
Cool. Well, we've got Frizzo Stolp here, who finished
Last.
No, did you? Yeah, he did finish last. Having some problems selecting his wings, he used the stream for inspiration, asking the commentators what wings to run, and I don't know who suggested those wings to you, but they didn't work as you hoped they'd intended to. We saw you lost a bit of your wing, so just describe, what happened.
Yeah. Lost traction into turn 2 and slammed the wall and crashed. Ready.
Yeah, so it's quite disappointing, isn't it? But you still carried on, so you must be quite happy to get a finish under your belt in FP, and I'm sure you'll be looking forward to racing in many more races, hopefully in a faster car.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm learning to drive without assist. So that's the problem now. I'm done.
No, well, so it's a good result. Any words, Simo?
Well, just to sort of sum up the race, yeah, it was a fairly enjoyable race. We had a fair few battles in the midfield. The top, the leaders sort of stretched the gap out a bit once they'd evened out the performances. So the Renault's getting ahead of the Haas, but yeah, after that it was an enjoyable race, watching everyone battling the midfield in wet conditions. They had a bit of a scrap and kept it close. So, and thanks for having me on.
No, thank you so much for joining me, Simo, in the commentary box. Great to get words from the podium finishers, and obviously Ash and Frizzo. We know that Frizzo, you always tune in to the stream, so we did want to get you in for a few words. So it's great to have you joining us here today. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm sure Hulkenberger will be back next race, but you did a hell of a job, Simo, so thanks for that, and see you all next week.